Hello and welcome to the Treasury Talent podcast. I'm your host, Simon Lynch. I wanted to talk to you today about Treasury salaries and titles. Titles are very misleading within Treasury, and it's something that I get asked about every day because that relates quite closely to salaries. But in my opinion, the two don't necessarily correlate. It's very easy to get a big title, but none of my clients ever overpay. So what you get paid tends to be a much better indication of what your job is than what the title is that you may have with that. The information I'm going to give you today is based on 7,500 data points, so pretty exhaustive, covering more than 11 years of my experience. And I'll start off by giving you there's only 7 titles within Treasury really, or 7 levels that sit within Treasury. I wouldn't necessarily say that you need to go from one level to the next. I think that if you're an analyst, to be a senior analyst, to be a manager, it's not necessarily a natural progression like that. You can actually move to a similar title and still be getting better experience. So in the market right now, the titles and the salaries that are being paid are Treasury Analyst is 120 to 140, a Senior Treasury Analyst is 140 to 150, a Treasury Manager 150 to 180, a Senior Treasury Manager 180 to 200, a Treasury Director 200 to 250, an Assistant Treasurer 250 to 300, and a Treasurer would be 300 plus. Now within that, small company treasurers, there are roles out there that would pay in the early 200s, standalone, treasurer by title, but very much the only person within Treasury. Equally, the same title in a very large listed business, blue chip, would be paying 450. So you can see how misleading that would be. Between 200 and 450, all the same title, but very, very different jobs. And I think that in itself summarizes the market. But at the end of the day, the size and scale of the Treasury dictates what they pay within that. As I say, I think that the key point is nobody ever overpays. It's much harder to get a pay rise than it is to get a title increase. Within the information that I've just given you, there's a couple of outliers within that. Treasury operations managers sit very much in the 140 to 180 bracket, and treasury accountants, always in very low supply and high demand, are in the 140 to 160 market. So I hope that gives you a bit of an overview as to where the market is currently. They are obviously base salaries, bonus and at risk is on top of that. The normal, I would say, is 20 to 25% within this space, but it's not uncommon for businesses to pay up to 100%, particularly sort of your tech, your biotech, old world traditional businesses where cost is much more important, don't tend to pay as high. But equally, that is where a lot of the really interesting Treasury jobs sit. So if you've got any questions, if you're unsure about your title, please just reach out, simon@davielynch.com. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions.